SmackDown review for the January 17th episode of SmackDown. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, first ever, I guess. Well, we still got the first defense from Tiffany, so that kind of headlined the night for me. And, you got Solo. First time we see Solo. So what did this night bring? Kind of a mixed bag, I'd say, a little bit.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag of things. We'll get right to it. But before I do, I just want to shout out that thank you all for joining our live stream today. TikTok is obviously going out tomorrow after this comes out. So please, if you enjoy our content, share with other people. Let's help spread us that way, because it's very hard for content creators like small content creators to expand without TikTok. So we're going to need a little bit of help. And thank you guys for supporting. So I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, let's get right into SmackDown here. Rey Mysterio starts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the hell he doing here?
Yeah, and then you realize, San Diego.
We're in San Diego. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
A home of Rey Mysterio and Ron Burgundy.
And Bayley.
She's from San Jose.
Yeah, everybody's saying that. But anyway, he comes out and he goes, this is my hometown. This is 619. And then he decides to join the Raw to basically do what they did on Raw, and he declares for the Rumble. Mm-hmm. Declares for the Rumble like everybody else. And he says, he starts talking about how when he won the Rumble, but he talks about how it's going to be a lot harder this time because of all the talent that is now in this Rumble and declared for it already. And he mentions Cena and Punk and Roman and all the names that everybody knows. And before he can get done with his little spiel, Kevin Owens comes out. Kevin Owens, he's still rocking the winged eagle. And he comes out and he goes, I'm sorry I have to interrupt you. I had to, though. I heard you say that you were going to win the Royal Rumble. He said, I respect you a lot, Rey. I respect you probably more than anybody else in this business. But I haven't done one thing, and that's face you, Rey Mysterio. So I want to ask you something. When you win the Royal Rumble, and I hope you do, you should challenge me for the championship. Because, he's the champ. And Rey looks at him and goes, but Kevin, you're not the champion. He goes, I respect you too, and if you win your match against Cody at the Royal Rumble, then sure, I'll challenge you for a championship match at WrestleMania. And when he says that, Kevin Owens ain't happy. He goes, he starts screaming, I am the champion. What's your problem? Did Cody brainwash you too? All this stuff.
Do you have bleach blonde hair underneath that mask? I like that. I really like that part.
Bleach blonde hair. And then Rey takes the mic and he's like, what is going on with you? You're acting like Drew McIntyre, or hell, you're acting like my stuck-up piece of shit son, because he's a deadbeat dad and he disrespects that beautiful Dom whenever he can. And when that happens, Kevin Owens, obviously, he starts to fight. And the fight ensues, and Rey goes for a 619, but he rolls out of the ring beforehand. Later on, we do find out that Kevin Owens and Rey Mysterio will have a match later that night. But I thought this was an entertaining opening segment. Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, never see these two interact. I thought they did a good job. I'm popping it.
Yeah. Before I get into that, the day this comes out, the Chiefs are going to be in the playoffs. So I just want to say,
wow,
go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Hopefully we get a win here. Anyway, we'll talk about the stuff at hand now. Yeah, it was, I guess, interesting. I mean, it was in San Diego. I didn't know who was going to open the show. We always like to do that when shows come on. Who's going to open? Or who do we think? Rey was not on my list. I couldn't tell you the last time Rey Mysterio opened a show, but it's a welcome sight. I mean, it's nice to see Rey kind of doing double duty, I guess, too, like Raw and SmackDown, whenever. He's getting, up there in age, so eventually we're not going to have that much longer, so I guess let's enjoy it. Him and Kevin were really good.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy to write home about. Kevin continues to do some great work here, being 100% right, and that was pretty much it.
There was nothing to write home about, but it's just two people who we never see interacting, doing a good job doing it. I'll give it a pop. Mm-hmm. We do move on. Bianca and Naomi are backstage, and they're talking about their match that they have against Nia Jax and Candace LeRae tonight. But obviously, in the Fatal 4-Way match last week, Bianca accidentally had her hair whip Naomi. Naomi's a little on edge about that. She still trusts Bianca, but she was like, hey, maybe tonight you put your hair up in a bun or something. So Bianca actually did put her hair up going into the match. We did have a small little segment in between the match and Bianca and Naomi where Cody Rhodes announces that he is clear to wrestle from here on out. So that's something to look forward to. But we would get our match with Nia Jax and Candace LeRae taking on Naomi and Bianca Belair. Again, the hair thing. Bianca's hair is up for...
Yeah, remember that, because it's going to come into play in this match.
Her hair is up for probably, 2 minutes?
10 seconds?
2 minutes?
Yeah,
like
first couple moves, yeah.
very early in the match, because when Bianca and Naomi get into the ring, Nia Jax goes after Naomi before the match starts and kind of just takes her out, throws her out of the ring. And then Nia and Candace work on Bianca. Bianca does the heavy lifting for that team during this match. The entire time she's trying to get a hot tag onto Naomi, who most of the time is just selling on the outside of the ring, doing the Peter Griffin, right? Like
just hanging out, man.
Yeah, I mean, and Bianca is just the greatest ever. She did, incredible things like usual. She did something a spot where she military pressed Candice LeRae and threw her over the top rope at Nia Jax. She was doing a lot of stuff. Nia continues to be absolutely spectacular with her character arc, because there was a point when she had Bianca down and she took the hair and started dancing and doing the Bianca hair twirl with Bianca's braid. And I was like, that's just gold. That's just gold. That's what makes you like characters.
I mean, yeah. Something that we would never get from old Nia.
Yeah.
Never in a million years would we get that from old Nia.
This match did a spectacular job of basically continuing to establish that Bianca Belair is one of one, and she's absolutely incredible, and she was handling her own in there with Nia and Candace. But at the same time, Nia got a lot of offense in on Bianca, and Nia was looking dominating as well. So that was all very good stuff. But eventually, Bianca would go for a hot tag on Naomi, but Nia would be out there and take Naomi's boot off the apron and start beating her up on the outside. But of course, we would eventually get the hot tag to Naomi. She'd come in steaming hot, split leg moonsault to Nia, all that good stuff, until Nia would eventually get a Samoan drop onto her, and Bianca would get tagged in. She feud with Nia as well. Candace would dropkick Bianca. All the hell is breaking loose. But eventually, Nia tries to go for a drop kick on Bianca. Bianca moves and accidentally Nia Jax does a leg drop onto Candace. Ow, that's your teammate. Shouldn't do that. That hurts them. But Naomi would hit a Bubba Bomb, right? Bubba Bomb.
Yeah,
Bubba Bomb.
Ray Dudley.
A Bubba Bomb to Candace, and Bianca and Naomi would win. No, the hair stuff never came into play. Never did. That said, this actually was a really entertaining match. They gave it a lot of time, like every match tonight, so it was pretty good. I'm giving it a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a pop as well. I kind of continue to keep talking about how I want to see Bianca in like singles again. I don't really want to deal with the tag team stuff, but tonight, if it's like this, where Bianca, it basically was a singles match for a good part of this match. Her and Nia, basically.
Yeah.
Both parties look strong. Bianca looks strong. Nia looks strong. Like you said, both character development there a little bit. Kind of like, I don't want to say like unexpected finish. Like when she hit that move, didn't like the bubble bomb, didn't think it was going to end there, and it did. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. I'm sure we're going to get some sort of development with the hair or something. And no, it never came into play. So I guess maybe the way they're going about it is Naomi is not really trusting Bianca is probably the route they're going to go. Even if Bianca's given her no reason to not trust her, Naomi's going to maybe distrust her. The trust is starting to fade a little bit. I think maybe that's the route they're going to go, because Naomi's got that dirty conscience. She attacks Jade, let's say hypothetically, and now everybody's after her. So I think that's probably the route that they go. Just would like to see a little bit something there, at least character side, or something from Nia in terms of, hey, I lost my title, but I guess she's maybe going after Rhea, I guess. So I guess it doesn't really matter, but like, you think logically something would happen, but it is what it is. Yeah,
the match didn't further whatever storyline they were trying to tell, or at least allude to, during the Bianca and Naomi segment from earlier. Like, you would have really thought, if what's that movie trope? If you place something on the wall at the beginning of the movie, it comes into play later in the movie. That's what I thought they were going to do with this, but nothing from it. I'm with you. Hopefully, if Naomi was the one that attacked Jade, maybe she has a guilty conscience, and now she's just super hyper aware of anybody kind of trying to come after her and all that stuff. Also, you're right about Nia not getting. Nia just doesn't care that she lost the belt. She doesn't even try to go back after Tiffany. So I think we're just kind of in a lull, waiting for whatever happens at the Rumble to really catapult whatever storylines happen next for these people. And maybe Nia shows back up on Raw again, and that's maybe her route. I don't know, but the match itself was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Nice little opener.
Yeah. Anyway, move back to
also it is guilty conscience, not dirty conscience.
Dirty conscience.
That's not
Dirty Dime as a dirty conscience.
That must have been on my mind.
You know what I mean? Of course he is. He's always on our mind. Michin and B-Fab are talking backstage, and B-Fab's basically saying, you'll get him next time, Michin. You did a good job. You're going to be a champ one day. And then the security guard, or not security guard, Secret Service agent, Piper Niven, she does her job, checks all corners as she enters the room, and she clears for the champion Chelsea Green to enter the vicinity, and Chelsea Green enters, and of course she immediately starts attacking Michin with words and hatred because that's what she does.
She tells B-Fab and Michin, why don't you guys stand up? You're not going to stand up for the first ever, only time woman to defend her U.S. title.
Amen.
I mean, they should have.
Yeah, they should have, and that basically. B-Fab says that you would never win that championship without Piper Niven, and then she kind of wants to get into Chelsea's face, and Piper does her job as Secret Service. Piper gets in between them, setting up a match for later in the night. But before that, we would get Mr. Carmelo Hayes taking on Big Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Big Jim. And the thing about Jimmy Uso right now is he is literally a copy-paste of Jey Uso. I mean, he does the yeet. He's doing the little moves in the ring. He does all of it. I noticed that right away.
Yeah, and he hits a spear in the match, not to go too far ahead, but he hits a spear, and then Wade Barrett's like, oh, that's his cousin Roman Reigns. So he's just collective. Everybody in the bloodline is now Big Jim.
Yeah, speaking of that, before the match, Melo comes out with a mic, and he goes, Jay and Roman, they're in the Rumble. What about you? You're just your brother Shadow, who's just a shadow of your cousin. He goes, how you going to take shots at me while sitting at the bench? And like always, Melo don't miss. And this match ended up actually being absolutely entertaining. But Jimmy would start the match doing all of Jay's moves. That's where I noticed it. He was doing everything. He did the spit hand, which he got from The Rock. I mean, the family is now just kind of everybody shares a moveset, I guess.
Running butt attack is everybody's.
Everybody's. He does suplex Melo onto the apron, which is pretty nice to see, and then suicide dives on him, which is pretty good. But he'd go for a whisper in the wind. That is one thing that Jimmy does now that none other does. No. He missed though.
I'd like to see Roman try.
Yeah, Roman whisper in the wind. Melo would get up and give him a springboard DDT that was really, really, really nice, but Jimmy would respond with a huge pop-up Samoan drop to Carmelo, and it's Carmelo Hayes. So you can imagine how high up he got. Dude sold. It's absolutely great. But eventually, we would get all the good stuff happening. We'd get a first 48 from Melo into a 1-2. Melo would go for the nothing but net, but end up getting super kicked by Big Jim, and Jimmy would end up spearing Melo, which would set up a good old-fashioned splash. And when he got to the top rope, Tama Tonga's behind him, but you see Jacob Fatu on the other side of the ring first, and he's on the opposite apron of Jimmy, and he's just looking at him, and Fatu has this look tonight. I don't even know how to describe it. Words can't describe it. He's got this look in his eye of just like, I'm going to murder anything that's in my way today. But Tama Tonga pushes him off the top, Jimmy off the top rope, ding, ding. Jim wins by disqualification at that point. They start attacking Big Jim, and then Carmelo Hayes gets up and he's like, yeah, I like that you guys are attacking Big Jim. And Fatu's like, who the hell are you? Beats the hell out of Carmelo Hayes too. Starts beating him up. So he's clearing pad. Big Jim and Carmelo kind of just roll out of the ring. Solo's music hits, and that enters our next segment. But this match between Melo and Big Jim was absolutely great. I like that they're giving Big Jim some time. I wish Melo would maybe get some clean wins, but at the same time, you can't really have Jim lose. So, you give him a wonky finish. I still thought it was spectacular, popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it strictly for Carmelo Hayes. Just how good Carmelo Hayes is. He can make anybody look good in the ring. You say Big Jim doesn't or can't really afford losses. I think he can, because I think he's kind of like the forgotten member. Like, everybody knows he's in the bloodline, but also, does anybody really care? I mean, nobody cares the same level of Jay or Roman or Sammy.
He's the red version of the blue yeet guy on Raw. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, I don't think that same level of care is there from everybody. Yeah. It would be nice to see Carmelo to kind of keep getting some wins or get some wins. He really hasn't. But I guess that kind of continues the long thing of like, Melo says he doesn't miss, but yet he always misses, and he just doesn't get any wins. So they kind of just keep running that. Maybe we keep talking about the transfer portal stuff. That would have been somebody that I would have liked to see somebody transfer, because he kind of needs a fresh start, because he just keeps getting losses.
Yeah, I mean, if Melo's in a match, who's losing?
Mm-hmm.
HIM. Right? Anyway, We come back from commercial break, and Solo is standing in the middle of the ring. Dude is wearing this red suit, looking real good. Jacob Fatu walks over to him, hands him a mic. And the crowd's already boo, boo, boo. And we're sitting here, oh, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? Acknowledge me, something, something, something. Solo Sikoa picks up the mic, drops it, walks out. He abandons Jacob Fatu in the ring. He abandons Tama Tonga in the ring. More stuff happens after that, but what does this mean for Solo? Are we not going to see him till the Royal Rumble? Is this him just giving up on his family? Is this him kind of conceding? What's next for Solo on that aspect?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely him just kind of conceding.
Yeah.
I do like this character development from Solo of I don't know, showing some sort of, I guess, human side. Like a lot of times with WWE stuff, we get like, that's not how a normal person would react in real life situations. You know, you really thought you were the tribal chief and he really thought he had the chance and he, let himself down. He let his family down. So it's kind of feels like a disgrace, I guess. So I really like to see that sad Solo side. In terms of what we get next, I gotta feel like we get some sort of Paul interaction to maybe save Solo. Maybe it's Rumble. Maybe it's a little bit after that because we're close to the Rumble. So maybe you don't get anything in match, like in the Rumble match of it. Maybe after that you get some. I still keep thinking like Paul looked really upset with Solo when Solo took the pin. Solo continues to kind of feel sorry for himself. I feel like maybe Paul is that guy to really kind of speak to Solo and get Solo to realize who he is again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think what they're going to try to do here is do the same thing after WrestleMania when Roman left and just let Solo kind of find his own character. I think now you have Solo leave, go off screen for I don't know how long. I would say probably Rumble. Hopefully Jacob Fatu can start being dominant like we think that he can, and then maybe Solo comes back and there's jealousy involved there, and then we lead to that sort of storyline. But to see him come out, not even say a word, just totally concede, man, what a twist. I was for sure he was just going to keep acknowledging himself as tribal chief, and we were going to have, run it back with Roman or something, or him chase after Roman or say that he's going to make sure that Roman doesn't win the Rumble or something like that. But to have him just drop the mic and walk off, like, woo, good stuff.
And I think it's a good point that you make that maybe it's Rumble. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, with what happens after this, I think the longer you keep Solo off, the better. I think that would be really good.
You don't want him in the Rumble?
I mean, he doesn't really have to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Because to me, it doesn't help or hurt him at all being in the Rumble. So I'd rather have that spot go to somebody else.
Yeah.
So now that I'm thinking about it, like the longer he gets off screen, I think maybe the better. Maybe you just do some promos where he's trying to find himself. But with what happens next is kind of what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. But this wasn't it. So ring is cleared. Mic that he drops in the middle of the ring. Jacob Fatu steps up and picks up that mic, and he is pissed. So I'm just going to read exactly what he said. He says, "This what it comes to. This is it. I'm tired of the disrespect and hate and envy. In my worst day, y'all can't touch me. I give a damn if you cheer or boo. But one thing is for sure. I will not let you do it, or I will not let you act like like I ain't got mine." Mm-hmm. Meaning he thinks that we all think he's crazy. That's what he's trying to say. He goes, I lost track on my sheet here. Jesus. Anyway, he goes, "I will not let you do it to me. You thought I was crazy. I'm just getting started." And then LA Knight's music hits. He comes and attacks Jacob Fatu from behind, but Fatu gets the best of him. And then Braun Strowman comes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him and Tama Tonga and Fatu are just beating the hell out of LA Knight.
Yeah. But Braun Strowman comes out. Tama Tonga's like, screw it, I'm going to suicide dive onto this man. Braun Strowman catches Tama Tonga, throws him at the barricade, and then we get a stare-off between Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, two just alpha males. And before anything can happen, Tama Tonga takes him out of the ring, Fatu out of the ring, and he walks off. But it is official. Jacob Fatu is on his own solo path to destruction, and that starts at Saturday night's main event against Braun Strowman because that match is now official. Jacob Fatu, solo run. Hell yeah, it is time, boys.
Yeah, it's absolutely time. It's, I would say, long overdue. I mean, everybody's been waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and now Solo leaves, and Fatu's like, all right, it's my time to show you that, like, this is me, like, I'm better than Solo. Like, I'm the best one here. Like, I'm going to keep doing me. That match is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be fast paced. I think it's going to be just pretty much Fatu dominating, and then you get some Strowman domination. Just two big meaty men slapping meat.
Amen.
Who doesn't love that? Fatu getting the win here. It really makes you think, like you said. Do I think Solo be in the Rumble? Like, I don't really think Solo needs to be, but Fatu, he needs to be.
Yeah, I think this is the absolute first. Like, this is the best first opponent for Fatu to have a solo PLE match against. Like, we talk about how monstrous Fatu has been and how dominating and how he's just killing everybody on the roster. What better first opponent than to put him up against Braun Strowman in a PLE and have him beat that man? We saw what Braun Strowman, how he can put over a guy like Bronson Reed. Imagine what he can do with the man like Jacob Fatu. Let Jacob Fatu eat that man alive at Saturday Night Main Event. Let's get this thing rolling into the Rumble for Fatu.
Yeah, and it's smart. Saturday Night Main Event, obviously being on NBC, like that's a lot of eyes that maybe don't have USA or maybe don't have Netflix. And like, hey, here's Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, amen. We get our number one contender tag team match. We get Motor City Machine Guns taking on Los Garzas, and I'm going to be completely upfront. Being able to summarize this match is physically impossible. These two put on a clinic in the middle of SmackDown on January 17th. It was tag team maneuver, but crazy.
Yeah, match of the night. Match of the night by far.
Probably match of the night by far. I mean, absolutely crazy. So they're just trading the entire match. They're in Motor City Machine Guns doing their amazing tag team moves. Los Garzas are doing their amazing tag team moves. But toward the end, Pretty Deadly comes out because they're working with DIY in some way, shape, or form. And so their job was to distract the Motor City Machine Guns, but they accidentally end up distracting the ref instead. And that gives Motor City Machine Guns the path to the victory. They hit the Skull and Bones and get the W here. So it will be DIY taking on the Motor City Machine Guns in a couple weeks, I guess. We don't know when the match is taking place, but they became number one contenders. Like I said, if you want to watch the match, find a way to watch it because this match was awesome and I can't do it justice. But popping the hell out of it.
Yeah, we seem to get these things with SmackDown, I guess, as of late. Like, there's one match that they give 20, 25 minutes to, something like that, and it's just fantastic. Like, they do picture in picture because they know it's gonna be fantastic. They know it's gonna be great. That was this match. Fantastic stuff. The right team won here, obviously, and not much else needs to be said, I guess.
Yeah, we had some people in our live stream. They love some Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, they're gonna be facing, I believe, DIY next week. I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Either that or Motor City Machine Guns. I think it's Motor City Machine Guns.
Maybe. Yeah, that would. Yeah,
they're weakening them up.
That makes sense.
They're weakening them up. Apollo Crews is also involved in this.
Yeah.
He gets attacked by DIY afterward, Gargano to be specifically, because Apollo Crews is trying to tell Pretty Deadly and warn them about DIY and the inevitable that they'll turn on them, and then they beat up Apollo Crews, so he's also involved. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know why Apollo Crews just, I guess, being the snitch backstage, but Gargano doesn't like it.
So. Gargano don't like it.
So he says keep his name out of, he pulls a Will Smith. Keep her name out of your mouth, basically.
Keep her name out of your mouth.
So expect maybe a Gargano and Apollo Crews match sometime in the future.
We'll see.
Maybe that's next week.
We get Piper Niven taking on B-Fab. Chelsea tries to distract right away on B-Fab, but that doesn't work because B-Fab is smart. And she starts dominating Piper for the beginning of this match with some leg kicks and high boots, and then she kicks Piper out of the ring, and then she throws Piper back into the ring, and while Chelsea's yapping at her, B-Fab turns and jumps off the apron and clotheslines Chelsea Green. And when she puts her hands on the reigning, defending U.S. champion, Piper Niven does not like that. And she squashes her about 30 seconds. Hits her with one power slam, I think, and then hits her with a pop-up pile driver. 1, 2, 3, Piper Niven wins. Chelsea, of course, attacks right afterward, and because she got hit, so she wants some revenge. And while she's beating up on B-Fab, Michin runs out with a kendo stick. She starts trying to beat Piper with it, but Piper takes the kendo stick and starts beating Michin with it. But yeah, that's about it. Piper stands up on top here. She's looking like a good security guard, which is good. That's something good to see because the last time we've got a bodyguard type figure, it was Raquel, and everybody dislike the way they booked that. At least Piper's doing a good job at being the bodyguard. But I'm going to give this whole thing a drop. I think that some of these matches went a little bit long, and if you shaved off just like 60 seconds from each match and given it to this one to let B-Fab cook a little bit more, that would have been better. I don't like the idea of her just getting flat out squashed, so I'm gonna drop it.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop this as well. I was really excited to see B-Fab because we hadn't seen her in a while. Even Piper to an extent. I mean, Piper can go in the ring like she's above average, I would say.
Yeah.
Some people might say average, above average, somewhere in that range, but she's decent. So I was excited to see B-Fab at least give her a chance. Like, hey, somebody doesn't really get a chance very often. Go out there and see what you can do. She got squashed. Nothing really to write home about. And then I think the bigger thing is the Michin, Chelsea Green stuff. Like, I think we're running that back again. And that just, I don't want to see that anymore.
I'm down with it.
I know that, like, the women, we always say the women's roster is so deep and there's so many people that could challenge for stuff. It feels weird that we're already running this back again. Like, they've had multiple matches already, and I just don't need it.
I agree. I completely agree. There's not much more to say. I like Michin. I like B-Fab. I want better for both of them. It's cool that Michin got a couple title matches against Chelsea Green, but like we've seen it twice and one more time in the dumpster match. That feels solidified. Let's move on from that. And if anything here, you should have given B-Fab more time to prove herself in the ring so that you can convince me that maybe in the recent, in the not too distant future, Chelsea and B-Fab can run something. But instead you squash her to oblivion. And it's like, oh, okay.
And maybe they just do it because like they're in a bit of a time crunch because you do have Saturday Night Main Event and then you have Rumble a week after. Yeah. So maybe this is like a Rumble thing. I hope not, but like.
But Piper destroyed her, so like I can't.
Well, Michin and Chelsea, maybe that's like a Rumble thing.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's like a Rumble thing, just to have it on the card or something. I wouldn't be too excited about that either. But it just seems weird because maybe you get a random night of SmackDown, but it's just not needed.
No,
at all.
I agree. Anyway, Rey Mysterio versus Kevin Owens took place. Pretty good stuff here. Kevin Owens. Early was showing a little bit of mercy. He understood that he is outweighs and he's a bigger dude than Rey Mysterio. So every time he would shove Rey into the corner and then kind of back off and give him a moment to breathe.
Yeah, pays that respect that he said that. Yeah, he doesn't respect anybody as much as he respects Rey, and you could see that early on.
Yeah, and early on they were doing a slow, methodical match. Rey kept trying to get the 619 off, but KO just wouldn't let him do it. But this match they gave a lot of time, and Rey dominated most of this match, to be honest. Rey would do a Hurricane Rana off the apron. He'd jump off the apron and Hurricane Rana KO into the barricade. Dude's like in his 50s, and he's doing that. I mean, just give Rey his props.
He's the LeBron James of WWE.
Oh,
well, not like GOAT-wise, but just the fact that he continues to keep going.
And then he would follow that up with a baseball slide under the rope. To splash KO on the outside. But he gets all of his moves in, West Coast pop, DDTs, but he just can't keep Kevin Owens down. But eventually Kevin Owens get on the top rope and he give Rey a shimmy into a frog splash, man. How disrespectful. 1-2 ooh there. And Rey would he'd come back with some roll-up power bombs and get 1-2 oohs on that one. And KO would stunner Rey. 1-2 ooh on that one. Rey Mysterio being protected. Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, he is. KO would go for a swanton bomb, but Rey would get his knees up, and then he'd 619 Kevin Owens. But when Kevin Owens came up to receive the West Coast pop after the 619, he stumbled into the ref. Ref stumbles into the rope. That makes Rey fall off the top rope, and that gives KO a moment to get a pop-up power bomb to Rey Mysterio. Hit him with it. 1-2 ooh, but of course. It wasn't over. Rey Mysterio said he wasn't the real champion earlier in the night, and we all knew that was a problem. Side note that I didn't mention, Kevin Owens is wearing a Rey Mysterio Hall of Fame shirt while he's beating the hell out of Rey Mysterio. But it's time to do a post-match beat-up, and he puts Rey into a package pile driver position when our favorite boy, Cody Rhodes, whoa, Peanut, that was for you. He runs out to save the day. He doesn't allow it to happen. They start to tussle in the ring, and security comes out there and separates them, and Cody gets out of the ring and runs around and jumps over the announce table to try to get to Kevin Owens, but eventually Kevin Owens and security shuffle out through the crowd. What this all ends up leading to is Nick Aldis announcing that at Saturday Night Main Event, we're going to have a contract signing between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. That should be a fun time. All this is great. I love it. I'm popping it.
Yeah, both titles for that as well are going to be suspended in the air, which I'm a sucker for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop this as well. It was a good match. Nothing crazy, nothing to write home about. Am I going to watch it again? No, but I thought Kevin did some great character work that Kevin continues to do.
Yeah.
We progressed, Kevin like, oh, I really respect Rey Mysterio. And then at the end, I'm going to attack him because he says I'm wrong, even though I'm right. Then you have Cody Rhodes coming out for the save. He flies through the air like Michael Jordan in Space Jam to the announce table. That one's for you, Peanut and Peasy and Khan. And everybody hates Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was a little sluggish tonight, to say the least, but you get that.
All he did was run out there.
Yeah, it was a little sluggish.
Oh, my God.
I said,
he put his right foot in front of his left foot. He was running.
He almost tripped over his feet. It was okay. We don't really get anything in terms of like to write home about with the Cody KO stuff. I'm just ready for that to get here. I'm assuming we get something Friday and obviously something at Saturday Night Main Event, but I'm just ready for those two to get it on.
Yeah, we're officially in the just time is ticking toward it. They don't really know what to do, right? I mean, a contract signing is going to be fun. Somebody's getting put to the table.
Yeah.
Oh, and HBK.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels is going to be there.
Shawn Michaels is going to moderate it. So,
which is awesome.
So
sign me up.
Shawn Michaels taking a package pile driver, it looks like.
Yeah.
He's showing up to NXT in a neck brace. You know it.
I hope so.
Yeah, you know it.
I hope so.
Anyway, speaking of NXT, Roxanne was in the crowd for this championship match. But before... Roxanne.
I like that song.
But before we say any of that, Charlotte Flair video package is shown before the Tiffany Bayley title match there tonight. It's just, you never see her face. It's just her walking around yachts and showing off her jewelry. And she gets on a private jet and it just says in big blue letters, Charlotte Flair. So we're not saving the return as a out of nowhere return for Rumble. It's now, we know it's happening. They didn't give us a date or anything, but what do we think about WWE throwing this random promo in for Charlotte Flair here?
Yeah, it was out of nowhere. Joe Tessitore mentions like, hey, you can go see the full thing on her Instagram or something, and tries to promote that. She leans more into the Ric Flair character, I think, this time. I think that was evident, limousine ride and jet flying was pretty evident there. It feels weird because it was out of nowhere. It's right before the Tiffany match, so that makes me think, as we've kind of thought for a while, Tiffany versus Charlotte is going to probably happen at Mania, either a Chamber or Rumble win for Charlotte. I would have liked it to be a surprise. Like they didn't if you are going to do this, I feel like give me something, like give me a date, give me something. Charlotte's somebody that like you don't have to build the anticipation for. Like this didn't raise any stock for me. Everybody that's excited to see Charlotte is already excited. Everybody that is not happy to see Charlotte is not happy. This doesn't move the needle one way or another. And Rumble surprises, returns, debuts, like that's what it's kind of all about. So it would have been nice to save that for there.
Look, I'm all cool with the whole declaring for the Rumble that everybody's been doing. Ray, Seth, Roman, John, all of them. But like, we need some surprises. And of course it's like heavily rumored and speculated that Charlotte Flair is going to be there. And if you were going to bet on it, you'd probably bet for Charlotte to be there. But like, at least give us the surprise. At least have us be like, oh, is she going to show up? Now it's like, oh, you just threw a promo package randomly without a date on it. Oh, and Royal Rumble is 2 weeks from now. Man, what a coincidence, right? So I'm not hating on the promo, and I love Charlotte Flair, and I'm happy to see her at the Rumble. It's just, let us have the surprise. Why take that away from us?
Yeah, it just, like I said, I feel like they're polarizing, or Charlotte's very polarizing. So either you love Charlotte or you hate Charlotte. So you want her to come back, you don't want her to come back. This doesn't do anything for anybody, I feel like. It just is kind of a randomly placed promo right before the title match.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives away your hints of what's down the line.
Speaking of title match, we did have one. Main event, Tiffany Stratton, Bayley, Women's Undisputed Championship title belt. Roxanne Perez in the crowd after her and Bayley had a run-in on NXT last Tuesday. So what's going to happen? Roxanne going to get in the ring? Is something going to go down? Here we go. This match was They gave it like a full 30, basically, full 30.
Yeah, it was like a full 30.
Very slow match for the first 60%, 70% of it. Back and forth, Tiffy was obviously showing off her acrobatics, but what they did this match was they let Tiffy get offense in. Tiffy owned the majority of this match. She just spent the last however many months kind of being Nia's lackey, chasing around like a puppy with the money in the bank. So we didn't get to see much of Tiffany dominating at most points. So what they did here was they threw her out here and said, beat the hell out of Bayley for a while. And props to both of them. They did exactly that. But it was just, a little bit slower, methodical than we're used to. So it felt slow at the end of a 3-hour-long SmackDown. But we would eventually get some good stuff here. Bayley would hit a belly to belly on the outside of the ring. That's where things started to really kick up. But we'd go to commercial break and Tiffy would start dominating during the break. Tiffy would hit a swanton bomb, get up, hit a power bomb on her, then hit an arm bar on her. But Bayley would eventually get out of that and she would slam Tiff outside the ring and then pick her up and kind of like pick her up and slam her on top of the announce table. And then while Bayley was standing on the floor outside of the announce table, suplex Tiffany onto the outside. So that was a little bit of a cool little spot. But after she suplexes her, she walks over to Roxanne Perez and starts talking that smack in Roxanne's face. I don't know what they said. They're kind of just yelling at each other and you couldn't hear any of it.
Couldn't hear any of it.
But no one touches each other.
Nope.
Roxanne doesn't hop over the barricade. She has tickets, but she ain't on the main card yet, so she can't hop the barricade. She didn't have that right.
The ref's just like, I don't know you.
Yeah,
I don't know who you are.
Yeah, get out of here. But she would roll Tiffy back into the ring. She would hit the Bayley elbow drop from the top rope. 1-2 ooh. Hit another Bayley to belly. 1-2 ooh again. But Tiffy would end up reversing the rose plant once Bayley tried to put the rose plant on her. Hit her with an Alabama slam. Followed it up with the prettiest moonsault in all of SmackDown and WWE history. And she would get the win over Bayley. Tiffany gets a nice little defense here. I would understand people dropping it. It was long. It was slow for the most of it, but I think it did the job of alluding to more Bayley, Roxanne drama, and Tiffany's first real title defense. And she looked like an absolute star by herself with, she has some stock. She looks strong, right? So I think it did good. It took good strides. I'm popping it.
Yeah, you talk about people dropping this. You understand? I'm people.
There you go.
I'm me. That's me. I'm dropping it.
That's me.
For me, it was just a really hard match to get into. Beforehand, I mean, it's Tiffany versus Bayley. Tiffany's not losing that title, so you're like, okay, cool. Okay, well, does Roxanne make an appearance? Right away, they show Roxanne. She's like, cool, we get something there with Bayley.
That side note, that was like the real life equivalent to what they just did with the Charlotte stuff. Like, why not just have Roxanne come out of the stage and surprise us? Because the entire week we've all been like, is Roxanne going to show up in the title match? And then it's just like, oh, there she is in the front row of the crowd.
Yeah.
Deflating.
Yeah, it was like, there she is. And it's like, okay, well, she's got to she's got to do something. Not that Tiffany needs the help at all, but she's here to go after Bayley. There's got to be some sort of involvement. There was nothing. So you're just kind of like, oh, okay. I guess Roxanne comes out on NXT probably next week and talks that trash about Bayley losing. I guess that's the only way I could see things happening, but it seems weird, right?
Honestly, I don't see them interacting till Rumble. I think Roxanne will be in the Rumble and probably eliminate Bayley and we go from there. But I think this will be the last that we see the two of them until Rumble.
Okay, that's probably fair. Yeah, it's probably one of the two.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with what you're saying.
Either way, it just felt weird. Also, like you said, the match was a little bit slower. I've had a really tough time connecting with Bayley in terms of getting behind her or why should I really care? So that also was a little bit of a drag for me. Don't really know where they're kind of going with her. She's this fan favorite, but she doesn't really connect with the crowd sometimes, but sometimes she does, but not always. And then as a whole, 3 hours of SmackDown and this to be the main event, I feel like it kind of fell flat for me. I would have much preferred maybe KO and Rey to be the main event. Just something that way to spice it up. I understand it's a title match. I understand it's Tiffy's first defense. I understand you want to make it, feel important. It is important, but just didn't really do anything for me. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, she defended the title.
Ditto. The stuff that I liked is that yes, we continue the small inklings of Bayley Roxanne, sure. And then I like when our champions, we just had a very long championship reign by Liv Morgan, where it felt like they never really gave her time to just build her own stock, make her feel tough. And I feel like this was a good match to do that for Tiff. So that's really it. But I do agree in terms of like a main event to the third 3-hour SmackDown. It didn't give me reason to think that like, yeah, SmackDown should just remain 3 hours. Like, no, let's not.
Yeah. There was just some stuff tonight that I feel like, yes, I understand SmackDown's 3 hours. I understand they have time to fill. There's going to be some filler. I get that. But it was just kind of a reminder tonight as to like, SmackDown doesn't have to be 3 hours.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, good SmackDown, though. We did pop it 13-3, so we'll give it an overall pop. Match quality was great here tonight. This is a decent episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, I think that's important pretty much since Raw went on Netflix the last couple of weeks, the in-ring stuff's been pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Piper got the win tonight, which was nice to see a heel finally get a win. So that was cool. But in-ring match quality stuff has been pretty good. Yeah,
I love you, Fatu. Anyway, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. If you want to come watch us, we live stream Raw and SmackDown and PLEs like Saturday Night Main Event next week. So come watch it right here on YouTube. Share the podcast, please, because TikTok is going down. That's our main source of finding people. So it's word of mouth is going to carry way further now. So please share us there. And then, of course, we have a link tree in our bio. It has all of our socials. Comment, like, all of that stuff there as well, because we love talking to you guys on all of our posts. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.